And we're back. That, again, is a picture of the pressure cooker, a fragment of it, one of them that was believed to have been one of the bombs at the Boston Marathon. That is a fragment of the black bag believed to house the pressure cooker. We should update folks and say that the injury count for Monday's bombing has risen to at least 175, and police still do not, of course, have a suspect in custody. The new lead about the pressure cooker gives investigators a clue that the bomb was likely assembled nearby, but again, less than 48 hours after the twin blast, there's a lot we still don't know. Wall Street Journal's Devlin Barrett has been following the investigation closely. Good morning, Devlin.
Good morning, Rolf. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So first off, let's ask, why a pressure cooker?
A pressure cooker is basically a very handy way to make essentially a large pipe bomb. What you're doing with a pressure cooker is, by definition, it holds pressure in when you tighten the lid. And so when a low explosive like black powder explodes, it holds that charge just slightly longer so that it's more damaging when it does blow up.
Okay, and clearly we've seen some reports that this type of bomb has been particularly popular with Islamist militants. We have a list of some of the recent examples where a container bomb, a pressure cooker type bomb was used or was attempted, where it was somebody attempted to use one. And but are these types of bombs exclusive to Islamic militants? Do we have a sense?
No, not at all. This is a tactic. This is essentially a tactic that's been around for quite some time, and it got a lot of attention because an Al-Qaeda magazine gave a how-to instruction set for making one of these bombs. But most people who do bomb analysis don't think that the fact that it's a pressure cooker bomb points necessarily in any particular direction for a set of suspects.
Okay.
They just say it's a common method for people who want to build homemade bombs.
Okay, and now we're showing the video of the first blast there near the finish line. Devlin, one interesting clue here is they're thinking that with this type of bomb, this means it had to have been assembled nearby.
Yeah, it's a working theory. It's not something they know definitively yet, but the notion being, essentially, these bombs are pretty delicate, and you wouldn't want to be carrying these in a bag for a long period of time because you'd have to worry about them going off or the wires getting messed up. So the working theory now is that they would have to have been assembled relatively nearby and then brought to the site.
It is, we should note, it's unsettling that it's fairly easy to Google this kind of bomb, how to construct it.
Right, and that's part of the reason why investigators say you can't just assume it's militants or Al-Qaeda or anything like that, because the instructions for this are pretty ubiquitous online. It's just not contained to any one particular group.
Mm-hmm. And we should note that again, there's been no claim of responsibility so far. The Pakistani Taliban has actually come out and said they had nothing to do with it. But so we don't,
right.
Again, we don't know. It could be an individual inspired by Al-Qaeda or really anyone at this point.
Yeah, the basic line from the FBI at this point is they haven't ruled anyone out, essentially, in terms of types of groups or motives that could be behind this. They're basically appealing to the public to help, and they're asking for basically any piece of video, any piece of data that came from that day to be sent to them just so they can look at it.
One interesting note in our story today, it mentioned that bomb-sniffing dogs had checked the scene beforehand?
Yeah, that's right. It's been a long practice at big events like this to have bomb-sniffing dogs go through the crowd.
What happened? Why did they miss it?
Well, it's not a perfect fix. For one thing, you don't know when the bomb was introduced to the crowd. Also, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people packed into a tight space. There's no reason to assume that just because a dog passes by the crowd, every time he's gonna sense that smell and make an indication for you. Bomb-sniffing dogs aren't perfect because no system is perfect.
We should note that here in New York, at least on the New York subway, there were lots of bomb-sniffing dogs. I personally saw them in a bunch of different stations yesterday, sniffing at garbage cans. It's interesting, another thing to note here, London. If you go to London, you don't find garbage cans on the street. These were popular receptacles for bombs for the IRA.
Right, and I think what you see in places that have significant bombing periods, they do their best to get rid of as many trash cans as they can. And for example, in New York, I know around Times Square, a lot of garbage cans will just disappear. In addition, even ones that are normally there go away for big events.
Okay, Devlin Barrett, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And for more coverage on the bombing at the Boston Marathon, please stay with WSJ Live.